Hey ho, good neighbors, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's week has started off well and is going well and continues to go well into the weekend. Um, just coming on to share some things, some cool stuff. Show you the Mark Bagley cover colored by the great Chris Sotomayor. Talk about Arcane Syndicate, like really tell you what it's about. Show us some covers. Talk about Madcaps, which is live right now. Night, some of the other things. It's not gonna be a very long stream. I know usually I go on for an hour, 2 hours. I'm not gonna do that today. Maybe half hour or so. But if you're really a comic book fan and you're looking for new and fresh stuff, new ideas, different characters, new takes on things, you might want to hang out, look at some of the comics, and see. You might like something. I just had two interactions recently where people gave my stories a shot and they were wowed. They thought they were fantastic, and it was really humbling, and I'm very grateful. And then it led them to buy more stuff. So a lot of, honestly, I get a lot of great feedback about my writing. I'm very grateful. And I'm good at surrounding myself with really talented people, artists, colorists, inkers, everybody, letterers. So thank you to everybody. I'm going to mention some new team members too that are going to be working on some future books. Before we do, just real quick, well, not real quick, but I just want to show you a British publisher is actually doing the digitals for Philbo Publishing, and they're coming soon at this site, Any One World, a part of ASAP Imagination. You go to their site. Diary Dreads Digital is coming July 17th. Dynamics is coming the 14th. Tragedy is coming the 10th. Withered is coming the 7th. Devils in the Details is the 9th. So we got Philbo up there, and they have other books as well you could check out. I'm not familiar with these books, so I apologize, but go to the website, and you have a plethora of different books you can check out and purchase digital. So go to the website, which is Any One World. Okay, it's anyoneworld.com, and you can check that out. I'm going to put up a post with links. So this is United Kingdom distributor, and we're going to start with digital. We may go to physical overseas, and that's cool. So please check that out, and check out the other indie people that are there as well. Everybody's working hard, and like some of these books look really nice and professional, and you should give them a shot. I really highly recommend that. While you're at it, live right now with just 9 days to go is the Madcaps. If you're into Dungeons and Dragons fantasy, if you're into RPG board games, etc., you may like this. It's 4 comrades in the Dungeons and Dragons setting reunite at a town, but there is a problem in the town. Some drug is turning people into zombies, but it's more than that because it is a D&D fantasy. So there is magic and mayhem. There are monsters. There are, really cool battles and fights. And DM Ray is the creator writer with a great creative team. And we have some awesome covers here, as you can see, if you're a cover collector. And we've added some great add-ons and some great tiers. Again, we only have 9 days to go, and we really love to get a good, strong push. Again, this is book 1 of 3, Philbo Publishing. I didn't write it, but DM Ray did, which is Ray Jameson, and I am publishing it. As you can see, colors by the great Dan Kemp from Spawn. And Micah Myers is an amazing letterer. And I'm sorry, I forget the artist's name, but I can look. It's on the website. It's on the campaign page, and it's Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're into it, we've got some cool action. As you can see, there's some beheadings. We've got a dragon man that vomits lightning. So it's really cool, and you got a little story synopsis there. We've got the Jay Sloan. He's a great artist. He did the amazing illustrations here for these bios. So, I mean, really cool different characters, dwarves and elves and magic users. And We've got this nice wraparound cover we just added yesterday, colored by Dan Kemp. And we've got a 20-sided die. We've got 4 miniatures. So, I mean, if you like role-playing, you get the comic and get a startup set for role-playing. You know, we have different tiers for different things. We even have as add-ons if you just want the D20, if you want the miniatures, the wrapper, the pinup poster, or black and white and color, the minis, a wood laser engraved panel of the Jimbo Salgado cover, and really cool stretch goals. We unlocked this map, which is pretty cool of the world of the region, and we hope to get to 1,500. We're $410 away or something like that, to unlock this really cool character stats and profiles, which will be added to the book, adding several pages to the book. Here's the team. My Canadian friend, Ray Jameson. Evan Quiring is the artist. My apologies for forgetting. Dan Kemp. Micah Myers. And that handsome fellow, 60 pounds ago, Phil Russert, the publisher. And then there's stuff coming from Philbo, which we're going to talk about, which that right there, you can scan that with your QR scan, and you can go to what we're doing. So Mad Caps is live right now. I'm going to play the video real fast. Hopefully the sound. We also cut out, which was not good. So let's try this again. Share screen. I don't get it. I put the sound on. I don't like this new StreamYard system. All right. Sorry, guys. Let's try that one last time. Can I sing on this? Here we go again. It's pretty quick. All right. What is going on? Play.
A brawny intellectual, a devout farmer, a good-hearted charlatan, and a social facilitator. This circle of friends shall reunite in their hometown, Ivywood. Before they can depart for employment, they are interrupted by a local drug problem which carries hidden, sinister undertones. Can they survive the night? And what is the source of this danger? The bond amongst these friends may be the only metric to answer such questions.
So Ray is a pro, man. He really put a lot of professional effort into this. As you can see, the book is a beautiful looking book, and I highly recommend you guys give it a chance. We're at 1,090 with 9 days to go. We have funded, so don't worry, the book's going to be made. To be honest with you, the book is finished. It's just printing. So you'll get your book pretty soon. And I'm responsible for fulfillment, so all of you know I will always deliver. I never don't deliver, and I deliver as fast as possible. So we got 9 days to go. Can we get 2 backers, get to 50 today? That'd be awesome. And Ray will love you forever. He's our friend up north in Canada. All right. So that's that. I'm going to announce a couple of new team members. Now, Withered was a book that was a story that started as a short story in my short story book called Devils in the Details, which is available if anybody is interested in purchasing it. And Withered deals with the fact of why is life so hard? Like, why does God allow life to be so difficult? And the truth is, because in this story, God isn't in charge. He's not responsible for this. Otherwise, we would be in a beautiful utopia. Time is not a construct of the human mind or a measurement. It is actually this omnipotent, malevolent being that had a great battle with God and imprisoned him and defeated four of the seven archangels. The three remaining archangels are recruiting humans that were faithful to God throughout their life before they pass into the angel army. The angels are battling a great war with the demons to try to free God and save humanity and bring us back to what God had intended for us. The devil, Satan himself, is the right-hand man of that shall not be satiated, and he has his own plans. So it's kind of like Game of Thronesy. So I thought I had more to tell about this story, so I continued it as a comic series, which is ongoing. The artist on the first book did a wonderful job, is fantastic work, but will not be back for book 2. So I had to find a new team. So in typical Philbo passion and fashion, we like to work with the most professional people possible. So we're very proud and excited that the new creative team on Withered is going to be pencils by Louis Mana, who, if you're not familiar, is a great artist for Marvel and DC and other properties. And the inker will be Keith Williams. As you know, Keith Williams has inked over John Byrne, She-Hulk, Alpha Flight. He did Web of Spider-Man, Quasar, a lot of other stuff. So superstar team there. And colors are not sure yet, but I'm so happy to be working with them. And Withered 2 will be crowdfunded soon. I'm going to figure out when, because as you see, I've been doing one every month. Yeah, so that I'm excited about. It's going to continue the story. This is not a preachy religious book, but it does take place with a theological fantasy element. I do not preach to you any religion. I do not tell you what to think. It is just a fantasy story set with theological characters, and it's got action and heroism, good versus evil in its traditional fashion. So if you're into that, you may like this. And so far, everybody who's read it says it's fantastic. So you could always buy the PDF cheap if you want to check out issue 1 and check it out. We have Tragedy 6, which is going to launch on June 6th. And I'm very excited about Tragedy 6. And I'm very grateful to my dear friend Let's Do This for yet again another amazing trailer. And I want to show you that trailer because it is rocking. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to show you this trailer now. Or not. There we go. Sorry. Any day now. Now, all I'm going to say is let's do this, which is how he prefers to be referred to publicly. Knock this out of the park. I mean, there's just, it's absolutely phenomenal. And when you play it loud, I'm just telling you, the trailer, the music is just phenomenal. So thank you to you for that. It's amazing. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Tragedy, Tragedy is my flagship title, and we get a lot of big Marvel and DC legendary artists on there, and we are not stopping there. Um, we are continuing that tradition, and in that beautiful tradition, we have a Mark Bagley cover. And I received the colors today by yet another legendary artist in the industry, color artist, Chris Sotomayor, who I probably pronounced that wrong, but you know, I'm Irish. What am I gonna do? And I'm just pulling it up now to show you. Mark Bagley will be a cover option on here. I'm going to show you the other cover options because I work with amazing, talented people, not just the big names, but indie people that deserve to be big names. But here's the Bagley cover, colored by Chris Sotomayor. Very happy with this. Chris is just a pro, a 30-year pro. He knows what he's doing. He's worked with everybody. He's colored everybody you can think of. You're probably not even aware that from your comic collection in the 90s and early 2010s, etc., probably a good 50 to 60% of your books are probably colored by Chris. But so this is the Bagley cover that will be formatted as we, tonight and trade dressed. And that is just an example of what we're dealing with. I love comics, and I want to make as professional a book as possible. And Tragedy has actually been, book one was reviewed by Peter David, Howard Mackey, and Chuck Dixon, and they thought it was very well written. And Chuck even did a foreword in the trade paperback because he thought it was a quality story. Here's the Chris Picciolo cover to a very big trade paperback with the manga version on the back. So if you're a comic fan who loves to read, and even if you enjoy Batman and Superman and all that, I'm not trying to deter you from that. If you love that, but you're looking for even new, fresh ideas, new characters, stories that don't preach at you, that are just good, fun entertainment, I'm telling you, jump on board with what we're doing because people are loving what we're doing. It's just getting out to more people. Hi, Christopher Elston. Chris is a very talented animator and independent film creator. Chris, drop your links to YouTube if you want. So anyway, so that's Tragedy. I'm happy to show you some interiors to Tragedy if you would like. I have lettered pages and I have unlettered pages, but this is the David River cover. Sorry, the computer's slow. So Tragedy, the first arc ended at the 5 issues. How some things are not just cut and dry. Hey Charles, hey Glenn, hey Cyrus, hey Guido. And 2 new villains have been introduced, and they are badass. And I'll be honest with you, the Were-Tiger, there's a surprise about the Were-Tiger. It's different than anything anybody's done. He's just not a typical Were-Tiger, but he's probably my favorite villain in the Tragedy world, and I've created probably about 30 characters at this point. And he's really my favorite because he's not just a Were-Tiger. There's a great backstory, etc., which is going to lead into some one-shots that I'm doing. So I have 5 one-shot issues that are the origins of some of the Tragedy villains. For those of you that have read Tragedy, you all love Joe and Tony, who maybe they're not villains, there's a redemption arc. But anyway, so I have a one-shot coming from Joe and Tony. For Joe and Tony, it's their origin, how they met, their origin of their powers. I have a one-shot of The Breath of the Dragon. I cannot name the artist on that book yet because it might be a huge announcement on who the interior artist is. But until it's locked in, I have to stay quiet. But we are bringing Henry Martinez of Blaze and Ghost Rider on to do interiors for one of the one-shots. We have Into the Shadows, which if you've been reading Tragedy, it's Jesse's origin, and Jesse is a bad guy. And then there's a villain that will be introduced in Tragedy later on that I have a one-shot for as well. And so we're going to be starting off with the Joe and Tony one-shot, which will come to crowdfunding soon enough, which looks like it's probably going to be illustrated by Henry Martinez. We're doing this, guys. We're up in the game. We want Marvel and DC artists on interiors, on covers, but we also want some of the best indie people in the world on there. We may not be a big company yet. We may not have a ton of capital coming in. We may not be in distribution yet. We may not be a company that you look at and you respect and say, wow, Philbo Publishing, I love them. But we will be. And we will be through sheer hard work, great stories, and hiring the best talent. And so come on board, hang out with us. You're going to go for a fun ride, I promise. Cyrus, Breath of the Dragon is easily one of my favorites. Well, I'm going to tell you, Cyrus, as much as this book is tragedy, it also parallels with Breath of the Dragon and Joe and Tony. Everybody's got moments in this book. It follows their journeys. And Breath of the Dragon is tied to tragedy. And they encounter each other a few times. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I like to write characters that are realistic in the sense that good people can do bad things and bad people can do good things. But, you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of gray area at times. It's not as cut and dry. And I like exploring that. I mean, if you think about it, when we look at like Magneto and Doom, two of the greatest villains of all time. Why? They weren't great when Magneto was the corny bad guy that just wanted to destroy everybody, right? Or Doom legendary villains when Doom wasn't clear-cut evil. The point of Doom is he does bad things because he thinks there's a means to an end, because he feels arrogantly that if he's in charge and he rules, he can bring peace to everyone and make everybody happy, but he would have to be in charge to do it. And his people in Latveria love him because he's a great ruler, but he does bad things. So he's not cut and dry, right? Magneto, he just wants the mutant race to be safe and away from prejudice. And he's willing to go that extra mile and do abhorrent things to protect his people. So there is altruism there, but he's doing bad things. It's kind of like Thanos in the movies, right? You may not agree with the snap, but you can understand it, you know? So I like to create characters that are fleshed out and are three-dimensional, four-dimensional. And that's what my stories delve into, because at the end of the day, you know, whatever the world is, if you can't relate to the characters, if you can't root for the hero and cheer for them, and you can't feel sad for them when they're down, then you're not invested. And you need to be invested, right? And I've had many people run up to me and talk about these characters in the first 5 issues as if they had known them for years and they related to them, enjoyed them. And it's such a humbling, sincerely amazing feeling, and I'm very grateful for that. And to everybody who gives it a chance, because so far, everyone who's given it a chance, who enjoys reading, has not been disappointed. At least that's what they've said. So, and they keep coming back, and I'm grateful. So Tragedy 6 is launching June 6th, and we hope that you come turn out. We know Kickstarter has a ton of stuff. We know that the economy is tough. We know that there is so much other entertainment out there for you to spend your hard-earned money on. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you why it should be tragedy. All I'm going to tell you is you don't know what you're missing until you give it a shot, right? And even if it's just a PDF, even if it's checking out book 1, which will be available, Catch Up Tears, or whatever before you invest in the rest, I think you're going to be hooked. I think you're going to go, you know what? Here's another book to add to my list of things that I can really enjoy, because guess what? Comics aren't to divide people, it's to bring us together. They got me from a rough childhood. It's a good way to escape the hardships of reality. If you have a hard day at work, you're having a rough time with your partner in your relationship, social media is just rotting your brain and because of the anger and whatever, cracking open a good story is always a beautiful remedy. It always has been for me. And I want my books to be that remedy for you. All right, so Tragedy is going to launch. I've posted the covers. I'm not going to bore you all day with that because I'm running behind. I want to get into other people's stuff that I'm going to be publishing, like Glenn's book and Guido's book in a minute. But first, another thing, we have Diary Dread, which is a 156-page, 5 full stories and a 10-page story by Charles Santino, wrote Conan for Marvel in the 90s. It's an homage to the old EC Comics, Creepshow, etc. Again, I don't want to be the guy in American Idol who can't sing and embarrasses himself because nobody told me the truth. So I go to the pros and I ask them what they think. Be honest. Peter David, Howard Mackey, Chuck Dixon said Tragedy was good. They liked it. Peter David said it was better than most things out there, which is amazing because those are 3 amazing writers. 3 of the best. And the storyboard artist for the Creepshow TV show read Diary of Dread and loved it. And said the last story actually disturbed them. And it's a horror book, so if it did, I did my job. So check it out. I can even, at this point, I have the PDFs of the individual stories. If you want a sample size, reach out to me. It's very inexpensive to just pick up a PDF. They're full page, 24 to 28 page stories. Volume 2 is supposed to come out in fall, but that is going to be postponed for some reasons that I can't get into. Well, my father's passing did a lot of things, but we'll get into that later. So I want to show you Arcane Syndicate is a book I'm very proud of. And I'm the type of person that when people doubt me and say, oh, that's not going to work, my gut tells me it's going to work, I go with it anyway. Like the art book I just did for Tragedy, people like, nobody's going to buy that. They did. We hit over 3,000. We hit $15 short of 3,000 on the campaign, but 2 people came to me after, said they missed the campaign. They wanted to be part of the fulfillment. So we technically broke 3,000 on that artist edition book. Thank you to all of you. So I'm never going to be told what I can't do. I'm going to try it anyway, because get in the ring and start swinging, right? I mean, don't let anybody talk you out of getting in the ring. I just want a fighting chance. I'm not asking for a handout, but just let me get in the ring and I'll earn it. So Arcane Syndicate, my wife, who's very honest with me, she thought, I don't think this is a good idea. It's not going to work out. Taking Dracula, Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, all the Universal monsters, which we can't call them that. They're not Universal monsters. And they're a super team for the government. And they deal with supernatural threats that the world faces. Cover by David River, colored by February Ferdian. And there's some twists. So Frankenstein is intelligent because the descendant of Dr. Frankenstein was dying of cancer, and through black magic and science, he transplanted his brain into the Frankenstein's monster. So he leads the team. We have the Phantom of the Opera, who, through help from Dr. Frankenstein, has a magical keyboard that he plays that creates spells. We have the Invisible Man, who we don't know what his motives are. He may be a double agent. We have the Creature that lived in a dark lagoon. We can't call it that, though. We have a werewolf, the Wolfman, who can now change at will due to a serum. We have the Mummy, who has different abilities. We have Count Dracula, and we wonder why Count Dracula is with them. Vlad the Impaler exists in this world, and so does Nosferatu. And each one of those vampires, all 3, think they are the original vampire, and the others are imposters and frauds. So there is a great vampire war coming. and Vlad is more militant and organized. They're like knights, but they're vampires. Nosferatu are very feral, animalistic creatures, and Dracula is Count Dracula. Sophisticated, has all the abilities, and for whatever reason, he's in this team, and you don't know why, and he butts heads with Frankenstein often. And so far, the first 5 issues have been written, and it's gotten great reviews. People love what I'm doing with this book. I'm doing things that haven't been done before. Think about it. Vampires are undead. What would happen if one of those vampires got control of the Necronomicon? I always say Comic-Con. Geez, Necro. You know what I'm saying? The Book of the Dead. Anyway, I don't know why I keep saying that. Imagine that. Imagine the little girl that drowned in the old 1939 Frankenstein movie comes back as a vengeful spirit wanting to get back at Frankenstein's descendant. Imagine a descendant of Van Helsing has seated himself into this governmental agency, and you have no idea why and what his motives are. There's a lot going on in this book, and people are loving it. The dialogue, the action, the interaction between the characters, it's getting great reviews, and this is coming out in the fall, mid-September into October, right before Halloween. And we have some awesome, awesome covers. So that's David River. All right, why did you? Sorry, hang on. We've got I don't know why I forgot this gentleman's name, and I feel very, very terrible about that. I gotta label these files. His last name is Arosa, Erwin Arosa, I believe. Phantom of the Opera. And I have a black and white version because I thought they were both cool. They're part of the Global Protectorate Agency. That'll be an option. The Great Kevin West. The 3 vampires. You have Vlad on the left. You have Nosferatu on the right, and Count Dracula in the middle. We even have a version with his eyes glowing, which I thought was pretty cool. So that's Arcane Syndicate. Now, the Global Protectorate Agency has another group that deals with terrorist threats, and it's called Displaced. And what it is a Comanche Indian, a samurai, a Viking, a Camelot knight, a cowboy, a pirate, an Aztec warrior, an Egyptian warrior, a Zulu warrior, all are displaced out of time into the current day, with the false promise of sending them back to their time. With universal translators, they're working as a team to defeat terrorist threats to the world through this government agency. And they don't get along culturally. The Viking and the samurai don't get along. The samurai thinks they're barbarian. They don't have honor. The cowboy and the Comanche. The Comanche doesn't trust the government for obvious reasons. And it's just a nice dynamic of how the different cultures interact and mingle with lots of action, etc. I have my own version of adamantium in the world. It's called baronium. If you look it up, baronium is real. It is diamond and metal fused together. It is the strongest substance that we actually have in our world. And they have armor and tomahawks and battle axes and all these weapons and samurai swords, katanas made of it. And it's fun. And they're both part of the Global Protectorate Agency, but separate books. And they're in the tragedy world. They're in the tragedy world, and I actually have some crossover plans someday between. We have the Dynamics. People slept on that book because it looked like a kid's book. It's not a kid's book. It's an all ages book. It's like a Pixar film, like The Incredibles and Power Pack. It's just fun, exciting adventure. It's a superpowered family based on mine. It has humor, and Rob Powers will be returning for Dynamics 2. I will announce these dates soon enough. So check that out. Everybody who reads that has enjoyed it. Don't be fooled, Rob. I wanted Rob to go with a more cartoony style, but the book is great. It's a lot of fun, and especially if you're a parent, you're going to get a chuckle out of it because coming from a parent's perspective of raising kids, never mind superpowered children, is a lot of fun. So those are things that are coming out from Philbo Publishing. Again, the one shots are coming too for a tragedy. I don't want to bring this down, but real quick, I also just want to mention my father suddenly and shockingly passed away on April 9th. Now, you may say, how could it be suddenly shocking because you said that he was fighting cancer? Because things were under control. He was still bench pressing 165 pounds a day. He was doing all right, and another tumor formed in his esophagus, and in 5 weeks it grew so big it killed him. And it's been rough. I even considered just quitting for a while. It was very hard, and I'm still dealing with it. And I had written a story called Papa, which is a 110-page graphic novel that I didn't realize was actually an homage. It was a tribute to my dad at the time when I was writing it, and it kind of had some undertones about our relationship. My father and I didn't have a relationship until about 3 years ago. And then we got very close. And I was fortunate to have those 3 years, even if that's all I had. So Papa is a 110-page graphic novel that got a lot of amazing reviews. It's been said it's written like a wonderful Silver Age tale where heroes are heroes. It deals with an old Vietnam vet living with his son, his daughter-in-law, and his granddaughter. And a threat to the family, especially the granddaughter, arises. And it's a story about family. It's a story about what would you do to protect your family. And it's a story about courage in the face of adversity, love, loyalty, compassion, but it's all written as an adventure. There is an adventure going on here, guys. I promise you that. And it's been said it's a really good book, and I'm very proud of it. And despite my dad being gone, I still want to have it made, but the problem is at 110 pages, it's going to be a $15,000 book. And I've always been honest, and I've been feeling bitter because if it was a booby book, I could probably make the 15 grand. But because it's a book about an old man hero, and it's something that's just more sentimental and important to me, I don't have faith that people will come out and support it and get it to 15 grand. So I've been trying to do these other campaigns and sell art to get this book made, because I have 5 wonderful artists on each chapter of the book so we could get the book, because at the time I was trying to get the book done quickly for my dad. And my dad didn't want me to feel bad and didn't want to bother me, but at his wake, his good friend came up to me and said, I don't know, I don't think they meant ill, but it did hurt. But they said that he was really hoping I'd get the book in time. And I failed. I didn't get it done. But I would still like to get the story out, and I would love to share it with you, because it's a good story. Regardless of the sentimentality, it's a really good story. It's a good adventure story that I think you guys would really, really like. So I want to try to launch that, and we'll see how it goes. I have another graphic novel that is not ready to go, because that's another 110-page story, and I'm very proud of this one. It's called Shaman. A young son of a Baptist minister in the South, in Alabama, has telekinetic and telepathic abilities. But what he does is he uses them to heal people. For example, addictions. He telekinetically pulls the drug out of your system through your pores and then he telepathically changes your brain to where it's not, where it doesn't have addiction, so that he cures you of your addiction. He's broken up tumors and removed them from people. He's doing things to heal, but he's pissing off very rich pharmaceutical companies that secretly do oxycodone trades and things like that, and fentanyl trades with Mexican drug cartels. The pharmaceutical company doesn't want their hands dirty, so they tell the Mexican cartel to go get rid of the problem. And it's basically a cat and mouse tale of this young man who is very powerful, but he's never dealt with professional assassins. He's never dealt with killing anybody. He was healing people in his father's church. And I'm very proud of this story. It's really well written. I think, I'm sorry if that sounds arrogant, but I'm really proud of it. The dialogue, everything. And I'd love to get that into production. I'm still going to look for an artist for that. And that's called Shaman. I have a lot of stories in my head, guys. And I'm writing a fantasy novel that I haven't written in 2 months called Sovereign Tedium. It is about a king on a throne who is feeling like he's wasting his days away. He's rotting on the throne. He was an adventurer, and he feels he made a bad choice becoming a king. It's a long story, and he leaves. But there is the great sorrow, and the great sorrow is a shadow it's casting itself across the country, the landscape, and it's turning people into husks. Just going through the motions, not living. See the theme? And opposing kingdom wants to take out this kingdom while his son is in charge, and he's away gallivanting and adventuring. He discovers the great sorrow. So there's several things going on, and so far it's been well received. The people that review, I send all my stuff to hard-nosed people that are going to tell me if something sucks. I can take it. I want to know if it's not good. I never want you to work your day job that you probably can't stand and spend that money on my crap. I better bring the goods. It better be worth your dollar. It better be worth those hours that you work at your job. And I mean that. So I do everything I can to make sure that it is. Every book that I put out. All right, so before we wrap up, I publish other people's IPs, as you know. Madcaps is live now. Guido Martinez is an Argentinian writer, letterer, creator, who has a really good book that I publish. We just wrapped up a campaign for issue number 5. Some of the books have arrived. We had to go with a couple of printers for different reasons. We're waiting on the rest of the books, and I will fulfill very quickly. So within the next 2 weeks, I expect to have the books, and I will fulfill in one day. Thank you to all who supported. Night, without giving too much away, is an urban fantasy. It is set in an urban setting in a city with some fantasy themes. There's an ancient wizard that has come back. He is the main villain. There's a necromancer. And then there are, superpowered cyborgs and stretchy people and really cool villains gallery. And it's all about him finding himself. I mean, literally. But it's about him finding himself while dealing with these extra threats, And it's well written. The art is beautiful. The sequential art is great. It's been well received. But Guido, I think, has been, unfortunately, if I'm to be honest, a victim of the current economy and Kickstarter situation. And he deserves more love than this book has gotten so far, in my opinion. I would not publish it and put my name on it if it wasn't worth it. See, here are some pages. It's a really great book, and he really has villains that I love heroes, but you're not a true hero unless you really have a great villain, right? That's my opinion. If the villain isn't a real threat, then the hero is never in danger. So he also has a great cast of characters that he's developing, a love interest, with Whisper, and It's great. It's a great book. Um, and you're missing out if you don't pick it up. So if you're interested in picking up Night, issues 1 through 4, or any of them, or the trade paperback, or issue 5, once it's fulfilled, we have to honor the people who have pledged first. Reach out to me and/or Guido via DM, and we'd be happy to hook you up. We'll work with you on whatever way to pay. You could pay me, so you're not paying overseas, but it's fine. It's a worthwhile book. Night. It's really good. As a matter of fact, I have the trade paperback right here of the first 4 issues. Again, Guido went professional. It's a professional book. I don't do anything else than that with Philbo. So check that out, and check out Madcaps. And to wrap things up, we have coming down the pipeline Light Warriors, which is Rod Rodolfo's book. It's a team of heroes. But what I loved about this book is what I love about Rod. Rod is a very spiritual guy in a sense. He believes in positive frequency energy and things like that. And he believes in being a good person and keeping positive. And he's really one of the good people in the world. And his story talks about that. It's about bringing light to the world, Light Warriors. And it's uplifting and it's moving, but it's also fun and action and superheroes. And that's going to be launching probably mid-July, right before we launch Night number 6. So keep an eye out for that, and show your love and support, please. Rod is from Brazil, and he's a good guy, and he deserves a little love for this book. And lastly, Apollo by Kevin Stewart. Apollo is actually a cameo in the original Tragedy issue 1. He's on the TV in the background in a panel. The original book. We had it redrawn. Actually, it might be in the remaster too. But anyway, you may look at him and think Superman archetype. And I did. But Kevin sent me the script and I read it. And I have to tell you, it's a great story. It is not just a Superman story. It's nothing like that. It's sci-fi in space. It's like taking Planet of the Apes and what's that Bruce Willis movie? The Fifth Element and Superman and Star Wars and all these things and mashing them together, and there's and just other stuff, and it's just really good. It's really, 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 really good. And that's going to be coming out soon. And lastly, actually, is King Alma. Glenn Ackham, or Acom, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, is high on the autistic spectrum. And 3 years ago, he came to me asking for help because he really wanted his script to be made into a comic book. And he wanted to show the world that autism doesn't have to stop you from living your dream. So at the time I was repping, which I no longer rep, that's another story, and I found some artists that were willing to do his book for free because Glenn is limited on his funds. He can't just go work overtime like us or get a higher paying job. He's limited. The artists didn't work out, unfortunately, one after the other for whatever reason. So it's been a couple of years, but then we got Kevin Stewart, and I worked out a deal with Kevin Stewart, and Kevin has been doing the pages, and they look fantastic. And King Alma is a Dungeons and Dragons fantasy story as well. We had a wonderful William Layden Jr. edited the book for us. I assisted editing free, which was very kind of him. Kevin's doing the pages. We have a letterer, Jason Meadows. The colorist, unfortunately, because it's been 3 years since they committed, doesn't have the time right now. So we have to find a colorist. Glenn did do a GoFundMe to try to help get the funds, and he did get a lot of generous support. Glenn, if you want to drop the link for the GoFundMe, if anybody's interested to help get the book made and printed. And we will do a Kickstarter so we can get the printing done. And we want to make Glenn's dream come true. Finally, after 3 years, he's been patient. He's been frustrated. We're going to make that happen. and we're gonna Philbo Publishing is going to kickstart that book for him. We're gonna publish it and make his dream come true. So if you like kings and dragons and armies and knights and monsters and warriors and axes and swords, you're going to enjoy King Alma. And if anything, you're helping an autistic man tell the world that you can still live your dream no matter what. And I think that's a wonderful thing that Glenn wants to do. And he's very excited. So let's keep that going. King Alma. All right, or Alma the King. Sorry, Alma the King. So keep an eye out for that. So there's a lot coming from Philbo Publishing. I have a lot of things I want to do. And the last thing I want to say is Diamond turned down Tragedy. And the funny thing is, a lot of people in the industry, including the CEO of Zenescope and some big name artists, etc., they didn't understand the rejection. It seemed really weird. So I don't know if I've pissed off somebody or what, but now it looks like Diamond is looking to go into fulfillment for Kickstarter. So I guess they're just not doing well, and maybe I dodged a bullet there. I do believe God has his plan. If you don't, that's fine, but I do. And I have a plan, and I'm going to implement it, and I will be in comic stores every month with Tragedy, probably in 2025. I will tell you more later. But I don't like gatekeepers. I don't like somebody telling me I can't be in the ring. I'm not asking for you to hand me the belt. I'm not asking you to fight me one-armed. I'm not asking you to let up and be easy on me. But you're not telling me I can't get in the fight. That's all I'm telling you. I will scrap, I will fight, I will bleed, I will claw, I will scratch. I will go in there and take the hits. I'll throw the hits back. I'll take everything they have to throw at me. But you're not going to tell me I'm only a spectator, that I can't get in the ring. And that's what a lot of these gatekeepers are doing. They're deciding who gets a chance to fight and who doesn't. And I think it's bullshit. So I'm going to do something new, something unprecedented, and I'm going to make it work. And then I'm going to bring people along with me and help them too. And it's going to happen. So I will say this. I'm very motivated. I've been in a bad place for several months. I almost quit. I was sleeping a lot. I was depressed. I wasn't talking to anybody. My father's death hit me hard, but I was already going through some stuff prior to that. But I prayed for the strength to keep going and to get out of my funk, and I'm starting to crawl out of it. Am I out of it yet? No. But if I'm going to go down, it's going to be going down swinging. It won't be quitting. It won't be giving up. And I'm not laying down for anybody. So to those who hate me, you waste your energy on hating me. I'm going to do what I got to do, and you're not going to get my attention. To those who have supported me and want to see me thrive, I'm very grateful to you, and I'm thankful to you, and I appreciate you more than you know. And if I can help you in any way or be a part of your journey, I'd be very happy and grateful to do so. Philbo Publishing will never be a Marvel or DC. I'm a very real person, and that's fine. I don't need it to be. But I could be an IDW or Dark Horse. Or maybe I'll just, maybe I'll be Zenescope or Scout and just enjoying putting out stories and enjoying time with my family and doing what I love on a daily basis. And that's perfectly fine with me. But I need you. I need your support. I never refer to anybody as fans. I don't know if you've noticed that. You're not my fanatics. You're not my fans. I'm your fan. You lift me up. If it wasn't for you, I just have ideas on paper. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be out here with these books. These characters wouldn't be known. They wouldn't exist other than my mind. So you're not my fans. I'm your fan. You're my supporters. You support me. You lift me up, and you carry me, and you have. And for everybody like Cyrus and I'm going to let you know, Cyrus, right now, with everything I've been going through, your kindness and your praise came at a really uplifting time for me. It meant a lot. It told me that I wasn't wasting my time, that I was doing this for something. And that person, I forgot, I think it was Chris. I'm so bad with names. Who came to me at CradleCon, running up to me, telling me how wonderful it was and buying all the books. I just want you to know that those things lift me up. They empower me, and they let me know that maybe I am doing something right. Just keep going. Just keep plugging away and keep fighting, and you'll break through. Life is like geology, time and pressure. If water can erode rock, then if I put the time in and I continue applying the pressure, I'll break through too. And it's because of people like Cyrus. And it's because of people like that young man that came up to me at the show. And the Gary Johnsons, Jesus, sorry. Charles Morgans, and the I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, and maybe because I don't sleep. But anyway, all the people that support me, the Mike Ficasios, and I don't know why the first name is I just feel terrible. Anyway, you guys are awesome, and you lift me up, and you make me feel like maybe I'm doing something right. So thank you. Philbo Publishing hopefully will be enough of a household name at some point, because I just want to share these stories. I just want you to enjoy them. I want you to be able to connect with something. Some of the greatest stories for me, Falling Down and Scent of a Woman and Shawshank Redemption, it's because they hit me here, and here. I related those. I understood the struggles. I understood the frustrations. I understood what they were going through, and it's kind of therapeutic. It's helpful when media, when pop culture can resonate with you. And those are the stories I want to tell. But it's also spandex, so they fight. Like he says in Godzilla, let them fight. Tragedy has lots of fighting with wonderful exposition and characters that you're going to root for, characters you're going to love to hate, characters you're going to hate to love. But you won't know until you try. Right, Cyrus? Cyrus finally gave a shot, a free comic book day. I gave him 39 Cedar Lane, and he really enjoyed it. And he went and bought Tragedy, went through 4 because I haven't updated the website. I'm so sorry, for 5 in the trade paperback. And he's telling me he loves Tragedy, and I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful. And I'm grateful that he gave me a chance. Just give me a chance, guys. And I really don't think you'll be disappointed. And you'll help me continue to hire wonderful indie artists and editors, etc., and major talent as well. All right. Anyway, appreciate you hanging out with me for a while. Philbo Publishing, Madcaps is live right now. It needs your love and support. We have funded, but it's underperforming. So, and I'm honest, nobody's going to say that, right? People are like, oh no, we're doing great, and they're going to talk everything up. The book deserves better than it's doing. It really does, and so does Ray. So please, go give it a shot if you like Dungeons & Dragons. You won't be disappointed. It's fun. All right. I'm going to leave you with what I always leave you with. Be legendary and have fun storm at the castle.